Well, hello. I am so happy to see you all. I thought you'd be here, as this is the final episode of Thimble's wonderful story. Now, it has been with some sadness that I am here today. I hadn't really expected it to finish so quickly, but one of the other fairies pointed out to me that there is another book that needs to be told. So I shall return, but I have to write the book. So that might take a few weeks. But as it is my forte, I'm hoping it won't be long. Now, you may or may not know that since we've come into the new moon in Capricorn, great changes are taking place across each and every realm, which should affect each and every one of us in a positive way, including you. So we shall see how things unfold over the next few months. Should be quite interesting. Just hope there aren't any more wind tunnels or rain showers. Goodness me. On a positive note, our realm is going to be celebrating their great grand fairy ball tonight. I'm quite excited. We get to hear who's going to be our leader. How wonderful. Yes, brand new leader. Anyway, let's find out how Thimble's getting on and see how she makes her way. Thimble and Blossom swept through the skies as the lunar Kai flew over grasslands and forests. Soon Thimble could make out the edge of the pixie realm, and as they flew over Periwinkle's little cricket house, she could see Periwinkle's velvet hat bobbing up and down as he danced with excitement as they soared past. "I knew you could do it," he shouted up, and Thimble held up her sword in triumph. Onward they went, and as they reached the top of Moor Valley, where the dwelling oaks of the fairy realm stood, they paused. "I am home, Thimble," exclaimed a tearful Blossom. "And I owe it all to you and your bravery," she said, taking Thimble by the hand. "Just you leave Lilybell to me." And they pulled back on the soft manes of willow and leaf and started their descent into the valley. As the peaks of the palace's highest towers came into view, the fairies could hear the warning bells ringing out across Moorland Valley. Down below there were fairies running everywhere, and Thimble realised they had best land and directed the two lunar Kai to the top of the palace steps. As the horses landed, there was a surge of knaves who came marching out, brandishing swords and bows. But before they had a chance to shoot a single arrow, Thimble jumped down from Leith's back and ordered them to hold their fire. Prunus and Myrtle peeked round the corner of the kitchen door to see what all the noise was. On seeing Thimble, they dropped the biscuits they had been eating and started running up the palace garden to greet her, closely followed by Lord and Lady Flute. Queen Lilybell burst through the library doors and moved faster than she had done in years to see what on earth the commotion was. "Thimble, Cotton, Flute," she exclaimed. "What on earth are these creatures you have brought back with you?" she asked, staring at the beautiful lunar Kai who bowed before her. There was a short pause, and then a voice from behind Willa said, "These are magical lunar Kai, and these are my friends." It was Blossom. Overjoyed and dumbstruck with disbelief, Queen Lilybell fell into the open arms of her long-lost cousin. "I know. How wonderful." And they hugged and laughed and danced in circles. The valley folk slowly started to come out of their little houses, and before long there were cheers and music playing across the whole valley. Thimble stepped forward and curtsied to the Queen, who composed herself and walked over to the little fairy with the biggest smile Thimble had ever seen. "Thank you, Thimble. I am so grateful for your efforts in bringing back my cousin Blossom. and she was just about to declare a day of celebration when there was a familiar cough behind her. It was Till. Yes, forgot about him. He had been watching all the excitement from the window at the top of the palace and was now looking very smug indeed. "My bride has returned," he dribbled, and Thimble's face dropped. Goodness me! He knew only too well that arriving on the strange horses had meant that Thimble had broken the rules of the quest and was rubbing his hands with glee. Oof. Lord and Lady Flute hugged Thimble, and Lady Flute presented her with the dress she had made for her return. "Oh, Mother," said Thimble as it was held up against her. "Not a dress, not now." But she had promised that she would wear it on her safe return and was soon standing in frilly lace and bows. Oh, dear. "I look ridiculous," she exclaimed as her mother clapped her hands with delight, and all Lord Flute could say was, "Oh dear, yes you do, oh dear." Blossom looked on as her friend was measured and poked for her wedding dress and felt quite terrible for her. Standing up on Leaf's back, she waved her hands in the air for everyone's attention. As silence fell, she cleared her throat and addressed the huge crowd which had now gathered. "As you all know," she said in a strong voice, "Thimble was set a quest by my cousin, the Queen, to find me and bring me safely home. She travelled through much danger and difficulties to do so, and without her, I would not be standing before you now," said Blossom, and the crowd cheered. "She is a clever, talented, brave and compassionate fairy who today has made fairy history. Thimble showed how brave she was when she was captured by flatland trolls," she continued, and the crowd took in a sharp intake of breath, and whispering soon started. "Thimble may have broken the rules on the last part of her quest of this long journey, but this was done selflessly and with others in mind. So I say she has succeeded in her quest and should be free from any unnecessary marriage to Till." Till? I mean, honestly, Lilybell, what were you thinking? There were gasps of disbelief from the other fairy onlookers. Till stepped forward and looked rather cross at what had just been said. "She broke the rules, and rules have to be obeyed," he huffed. Goodness. Blossom took another deep breath. Thimble now has an even bigger task to undertake, which will mean that she needs to travel back to Rushay and ask the Dryads for their help. The spirits of the blackened forest desperately need her assistance, and I believe she is the only one who can help them. If she is condemned to marrying Till, I believe the blackened forest will die and be lost forever, taking its precious tree spirits with it," said Blossom, looking over at Lilybell. Lady Flute burst out crying, and Lord Flute pulled an apple from his coat pocket and took a big bite from it. The Queen, who had been listening carefully to what Blossom had been saying, stepped forward, and silence fell. "I am your loyal Queen, but I am now getting too old to continue this important job. My only successor before Blossom Bowie was Tilano Toil, which was why Thimble would have made an important contribution to the royal household, as Till is clearly a fool and would have needed her precious guidance." Till stamped his foot in protest, but Lilybell held up her hand to stop him from speaking. "However," the Queen continued, "this has now changed, and Blossom Bowie is my successor. And if Blossom believes that Thimble should continue her good work with other realms, then so be it. And I will make that the last law I make as ruler of this great valley. And with that, Lilybell took the crown from her head and placed it on Blossom. Goodness. Well, I must say, the commotion that followed was greater than the valley had ever heard. There were shouts of "Long live Queen Blossom!" with claps and cheers for Thimble's bravery. Yes, our brave Thimble. An angry Till gave out the biggest huff he had ever made and scurried off to sulk in the royal kitchens. Prunus and Myrtle danced around and around as Thimble looked on laughing. Lady Flute rushed home in tears, clutching her tape measure and scissors, and Lord Flute stood silent for a while before he winked at Thimble and headed off for his beloved apple orchard. Everything in the valley was more or less how Thimble had left it, and it felt good to be home. In the days that followed, Queen Blossom was crowned formally, and Lilybell gracefully stepped down to live out her days in the royal palace, with a lot more time to spend in her beloved gardens. Till got over the wedding that never was, and could often be seen spending his time with the two newest members of the valley, Leaf and Willa, who enjoyed nothing more than taking the knaves on flying lessons. How wonderful! Lady Flute returned to her dressmaking and Lord Flute to his procrastinating in the apple orchards, and everyone was as happy as they could be. That was, of course, everyone except Thimble, for she knew only too well that somehow she had to find help for her friends back in the blackened forest. And although her travels seemed like nothing more than a dream now she was home, her thoughts of the places she had been to and the friends that she had met were very, very real indeed. Yes, I know. Right then, Twig, exclaimed Thimble. Do your very best. And she blasted her face with the little wand, making her lips sparkle and eyes shine with colour. Well, she said, with a big smile on her face, if I'm going to save the tree spirits and go back to Rache and consult with the dryads, I want to look my very best. And that is the end of our story, at least for now, as I shall be working hard to write the follow-up book about Thimble's travels to Rache to confront the dryads and ask for their help. I'm sure they will help her. I'm sure with her faith and her hope. Now, I know I always go on about hope. Please don't interrupt me. Thank you. Hope is very important, and you must keep hoping, because from hope emerges something wonderful from the greyest of ashes. It's what fuels positivity and makes wondrous, wondrous things happen. So always, always stay hopeful. Now, probably wondering where all these books have come from in my head. Well, I can tell you. I am a storytelling fairy, but there's something rather unusual about me. You see, my father is Thane Hawthorne. I'm Hazel Berry Hawthorne, and he's Thane Hawthorne. Yes, Thane. Thane, as in the book. That's right. It's an Elvian name. He's an elf. I'm very, very, very proud of my Elvian roots, so have continued with the storytelling, because elves are wonderful storytellers. And my mother, well, I'm sure you've already guessed who she is. Goodness. She is Thimble Cotton Flute. And very feisty, I can tell you. But she's told me all these wonderful stories that I'm able to write for you. So I shall go and see her again later and ask her about Rache. Goodness. No, they are rather wonderful. So I will be back. Now, oh, I can hear the music starting up in my realm. How wonderful, that's for our ball. Oh, and those are the calling birds. It is time for me to go. I know you shall want to come back again soon. I shall let you know when I'm here. You will hear me. Now, take good care. And until next time, remember, don't stop believing, especially in you.
Don't stop believing. Hold on to the feeling. Streetlight people. Don't stop believing. Hold on to the feeling. Streetlight people.